What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me today. You read the title, you know what we're talking about. The El Diablo RTA. I believe it's 5 ml version. And I believe there's a 2.5, but we're doing 5 from what I understand. This is, I want to give some mad props out real quick to Andy Rose. He's just a Southern Vapor brother down there in Miami. He did get this tank from Dragon's Den's Vapor, which is the only place you can get the authentic from what he has written me in my YouTube messages. And I want to send a special, very special thank you to you, Andy, for donating this for me to review. I really enjoy this tank. It's really goblin feel. It's got a goblin feel. Definitely better post. Anyway. Great flavor out of this tank. Very, very impressed. Really impressed. I hope I can find one because I need one in my life. Big fan of this. Although there is a couple quirks with it. Nothing's perfect, but hey. Nonetheless, we're doing the build. Check it out. So when you're looking at it right away, you're like, wow. Right away, right off the bat, you're thinking, okay, that's Goblin. A little different than what we're used to seeing. So when we build this, as you can see, both my bottom eyelets are wide open. Something to note, flathead hex keys there. Yes, they're technical, whatever, you know. Flathead driver to secure your wire. I love that. I love flatheads. My velocity too. Oh, probably the best screws I've ever used on any tank or any product that I own. And they're just, the screws are super important. A lot of people don't take that. A lot of companies don't take that into consideration. El Diablo definitely did a great job with that. So looking at the airflow, nice big hefty airflow. It is adjustable on the bottom here. We'll talk about all that in the final thoughts. Let's talk about the build. My classic flavor build. This is just great for flavor. It's something that's a go-to for me, especially in a tank like this. This is 28 gauge fused Clapton, wrapped with 40 gauge all nichrome 80 from Humble Wicking wire. 6 wraps, 2.5 millimeter bit with the legs kinked, as you can see there. Reason they're kinked is anytime you look at it, like let's say I wasn't going to build it the way I'm going to build it today, I wouldn't kink the legs. And let me go ahead and just kind of show you what's going on here. Let's load one up. Let's just get into this. I'm going to go ahead and load one up here. About there. Just kind of get it in. As you can see, it's still flat because we kinked those legs. We're using just the bottom eyelets here. Now I want to come in over the top of those legs that are sitting in there. Over the top with these legs right here. So I'm just going to slide these in just right over the top. No problemo. Just like that. Great. Now we're just going to simply maneuver these in. Location for the coils on this one, I'll show you where I like to put mine. I just nudge it through, pulling the legs, use my finger just to, pretty much like, the last video. Anytime I'm using just the top or the bottom, that's great right there. I'm really happy with that. Let's see if I can get this one to join right where that location is. This one right here, right where I want it. And when I can give you a better view, I'll tell you why I like it right there. Just nudge it through. More. Take your time on this. Anytime you're doing this, take your time. There we go. It is starting to come out, so I'm going to go ahead and just go right to the tightening. But as you can see here, the space I want evenly. I want the coils towards the back of the airflow. Let me go ahead and spin this. Put my other finger on this coil. Now I'm holding both coils here with my finger. As I come in and tighten one side, just snug it up for now. But I'm holding those coils there. That'll hold them. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out so far. And again, I'm going to hold those coils right there. Now I'm not putting a lot of pressure on these coils. Remember, you always want your coils as round as you can keep them. There we go, nice and tight. Now I can kind of free-handedly go in here and give these just a little tightening up. And I'm gonna stick right there. So let's take a look at this. So we're not tightened up yet, but as you can see, I've really moved those coils towards the back of the airflow. Now when I tighten these up, the coil should cover about 3/4 of this airflow hole. It should, if not, towards the back end of the airflow. That's where I like my build. Also, by using just the bottom 2 eyelets, it's allowed me to really drop those coils in there. Look at that. We haven't done nothing to them yet. However, they're sitting right over top of that. Let's clip some leads here. Get in there. Keep your finger on it. You don't want it to go flying all over the place. And take your time here. You don't want to clip the wrong... You know, you don't want to clip the wrong thing. Let me just climb in here and just kind of... It's very important you don't clip your coil itself and just have to start all over again. That's never fun. Going through here. If you notice, I haven't really bent them or anything at all, really. I just kind of clip them as close as I can. And see, now when we look at this right here, these legs, these little snippets right here, your cotton can catch on that and get all jagged and janky. So what I like to do is I like to come in here, and I got my tweezers here, which work, but I want to push them right up against that post. Just a little pressure, and just go in the natural way they're bending. I could probably use another clip. And I'm just coming in here, giving them a little push. Just anchoring them down. I think that's pretty good. Fly. So, now that we have leads clipped, coils installed, kind of rough draft if you will, we're going to go ahead and tighten up these coils. So we're going to get these back to a tight micro coil form here. So I'm going to load my driver in. I'm just going to give this a slight push. As you can see, it's starting to tighten up, and then I'm going to leave it. And I'm going to come in the other side, put it in. Now as I push the driver this way, as I push the coil back towards the center of this airflow hole, I'm going to use my finger to keep pressure on that coil. Doesn't take much. For now, that's good. We're going to leave it just like that. Let's do it again. Just come through here. Just till it tightens up. Good. Now we're going to come back. That's good for now. Now one thing I want to do is, yes, we are definitely down here right next to that airflow hole. As a matter of fact, I'm going to pull this one down towards the airflow even more. We're right over top of that. A couple things we need to make sure we're paying attention to here. When we're doing it in this style, in this manner, move this one over. When we're doing it in this style, we need to make sure that our coils are, that was a little off as well. We want to make sure that our coils are not touching the base of the deck at all. Let me pop this off, give you a better look, and I'll get rid of these. So, what I was telling you about my coils, I want them kind of towards the back of the airflow. Now, it's not much, but you can definitely see just a little bit of the airflow there, just in front. Pretty much covers the entire airflow, just about the edge there. Now, when I look down at it, you know, in the viewfinder, it definitely looks different than in person, but I do want it towards the back. Let's see if I can give you a better shot here. There we go. Towards the back of that airflow. And also, like I said before, we need to make sure it's not touching. So that's what I'm going to do now. And this one looks good. I want them flat across. I want them, yep, that looks good. I want the exact same height. With dual coils, anything you do on one side, you need to do on the other. So let's take a look here, see if they're not bad. Nothing's touching. Everything is suspended in air. That one seems like it can go down just a hair. But what I'm going to do is I have a feeling I might have a little loose screw, so I'm just going to come through. Anytime you make adjustments, Give it one more little twist. Oh yeah, that one was definitely loose. Okay. So that process that I just did starts all over again. Let's take a peek here. Pretty even as far as height goes. Flat across. Not bad. Not bad. Give this one little look here. Not bad at all. Good. And this is, I really make sure on this point, at this point right here, I really make sure that everything's right where I want it. And I definitely, most importantly, nothing's touching, which it isn't. So I'm happy with that. You know, it's always good to double check, triple check things, you know, make sure. Need a little vape there. So let's go ahead and move the tenderfoot stand out of the way. There's, you know, if you like, I always have links in the description to things in my videos that, especially the like the most asked questions. I always have links down the bottom where you can get the wire that I like to use, where you can, you know, get a tenderfoot stand, where you can get chasing the fog. All that stuff. So if there's something you might that maybe you see in my videos, maybe you want or want to check out, check in the description for links. They should be there. But nonetheless, here we are. Another look at that. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Pretty even spacing here. Definitely towards the back. This one could have went a little bit more, but we're going to talk about that in just a minute with the barrel. So I'm going to go ahead. I got my measurement here at a 0.16. It is all nichrome 80, my coil, so it will measure low at first. Once the resistance sets, we are going to have a different reading. I can already tell that one needs to be pinched out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit the button. Take your time here. I'm not hitting it and holding it, I'm just tapping it. Not much burning off when it comes to humble wicking wire. I'm going to go ahead and give this just a little pinch here. And if you notice, hopefully I can show you this, my tweezers are inside the airflow hole, and I'm using that to make sure that my coil's dead center. And I'm just going to fire it and let it sit. I want these dead center of that airflow hole. That's great. And I'm going to do the same on this side. There we go. So my tweezers are just sitting right in the corners of that airflow hole as I pinch the coil. I'm just going to hit that and then let it sit. Keep that in the shot, and I just hit it and let it sit like that. And I know I'm dead center. I'm really happy with how the coils are reacting as of this moment right now. They seem to be reacting quite well. I feel like we have a nice solid connection, nothing's touching. Double check on that one. Can't really tell with that one, so I'm going to make sure here. After you do this for a while, you'll start to feel things. You'll feel it. You'll feel something changed, and it's really hard to describe. So let's go ahead and get this back to firing. So we want to get these glowing really evenly, best we can here. Just a little nudge. The nudge is where you just gently push in on the side, and I mean gently. Like I just barely put any pressure on it, and I just nudge it like that. Just mimics the pinch. This side right here. I'm going to hold that one. Not bad. 40 watts. About where I like it, between 40 and 45. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that turned out okay. You know, when we look at a coil, when it's firing from the middle out, you know, it should just be sun right there. That sun color. Awesome. I'm really happy with that. Right now we've got a reading of 0.21 now, and that might even jump up just a hair more. Unscrew it from your mod. Anytime you fire, you know, your device and you're really setting your coils, always be careful taking it off your mod. Now I got it screwed on, and now we're going to go into the wicking portion of this. So we have our coil set right where we like it, you know, really low, really down on that airflow. Great flavor off this tank. Big fan of this thing. Big fan. Even with its flaws, it does have a few. So this is where you take your favorite cotton. And whatever you like to use, whether it be a cotton ball from Walgreens, whether it be Coke and Dough, this is where you're going to put your cotton. And your build as well. And we're going to go ahead and just load it in. Just like that. And I'm going to pull it forward until I feel resistance. Right there I feel resistance. And now I'm going to, when I feel the resistance, I'm going to take both ends of the cotton and I'm going to stretch it and move it through. All at this one time I'm going to go stretch and through. Nice and easy. Ready? There we go. You see from there, hopefully you can see from there, it's like the whole coil is full of cotton. And then coming on the outside of the coil, it's popping out. It looks like a bow tie. Is exactly what it is. And I'm going to cut it right flush here with the side. Right there. I'm going to turn this around. It's going to cut a little longer if I don't. And we just made a little bow tie. There we go. Let's do it again. So I just pop it in. And feel resistance. Stretch it. Pull it through. Just like that. So I'm going to come through again and right next to the deck. Note where I'm pulling that cotton. The cotton, if you just kind of go in here and cut it like this, you're going to, like, what I like to do is get my scissors where I like them and really straighten out that cotton, then clip. It gives me a lot more uniform and even clip. So everything's looking pretty even. There's the same amount of cotton on each side here. Pull it back. So now, when we look at this, it almost looks like a square, if you will. You know? It's, you know, just... So I want to clip the corners of the square. So I'm going to come through, just nip it. And I'm talking just graze it here. There we go. And essentially what we did there is we just rounded this whole thing out, as you can see. I'm thinking that might be good enough. Let's find out. Let's find out if it is. Got the barrel section here. I'm going to go ahead and place it right over. You should feel very little resistance. And what I like to do here is pay attention, right? I'm not telling you to pay attention. I'm just saying this is what I'm doing. When I put this barrel on, do you see how the cotton's acting here? I feel like that's a little much, especially right here. I feel like it's a little much. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this off. And I'm going to clip it again. Pull everything to the side, just like the goblin. Remember the goblin? And notice I'm pulling everything to the side. Next up, barrel. Make sure it's right side up. Yes, it is. You should feel very little pressure here. Take your time. Now, I've barely screwed it on there, and we can see where that cotton's in. Do you see that? That's great. That's great. Now, these juice channels are a touch larger than the Goblin, and I hate to compare it to the Goblin so much, but it really is the same basic technique, really. So what I want to do is I want to sit here, and I'm going to each channel, and I'm just simply pushing up on that cotton. I don't want to impede the juice flow here. I want the juice to be able to run right up into that channel and then get stopped by the cotton. Now, remember, we have really short wicks here. So wicking on this thing is super nice, man. So as you can see here, just by pushing up a little bit, just made a little dent. And I'm going to go all the way down. I'm going to come through. Let me grab my pick. So now we have this going on. Let me see if I can move some stuff here. So now we have this going on. There we go. And as we look inside, one thing you want to pay attention to is your coils are not touching the front of this barrel, and they're not. Nice spacing here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pick and I'm going to just drag these corners. Drag, drag, drag to the side. And I am really happy with this. You do, when you feel just a little resistance to that cotton, you're set. Really concentrating on those corners right here. Just gently push down. Yeah, that one. And that's it. That's it. I am really, really happy with that. See if I can get a better shot here. There we go. Like, I'm really happy with that. You know, there's no cotton here. There's no cotton impeding the bottom of these juice wells. And that's how I do it, man. So let's put it all together after we juice it up, of course. I always juice it up after I got the barrel on. I know my cotton's there. Let's see, what do we got? No, that's not it. Where did it go? Again? Oh my god, I can't believe I did it again. Alright, let's get it going here. Let me see if I can set you guys up though. Just a little better. So essentially I'm just going to take some juice. I'm going to put it on each coil. A little on each. Just a drop. And then I'm going to hit the power button. And it'll soak it right in. Just put it on there. Touch it. Oops. Spit a little juice there. And I'm going to do that just a few times. Off camera. Because I want the core of the cotton soaked. And that's the way it's looking now. Everything looks nice and soaked here. So let's finish putting this thing together. Alright, next up, your glass. Glass goes on. Just like so. Your top section. Threads right in the top of that chimney. Pull that off. Nice and tight here. I'm going to take off the fill top there, top piece. I'm really going to snug that up. And anytime I have one of these, like, you know, top fill where you unscrew the top, I always go in here and I'll put it on like I would, like let's say I just filled it, and I make sure I can screw it on and off without the rest of it spinning. And it's not spinning right there at all. So I'm happy with that. Up on the bottom. Set up your airflow. I go about right there. And fill it up. Shut it off. Give it a nice fill here. All the way to the top. Leaving some air though. Screw on the top. And on the last turn here, I'm just going to flip it upside down as I tighten it down. Did you see that? So when I filled it, I went, right before on the last turn, I went spinned. At the same time, I turned it upside down. That's going to put the pressure in an opposite direction. And that's where I like my airflow, about right there. Screw it on. Got it. And there it is. The El Diablo Beast. Gorgeous. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully this helped you in your Diablo RTA wicking and building stuff. Try this build out, man. If you haven't tried it this way, it's definitely worth it. Let me have a babe. Oh. Killer flavor. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at tjvapingreviews@aol.com or simply comment down below. Find out what you can do to fight for your vaping rights in your state by joining CASA, link in the description. Jump around, find an advocacy group you believe in, and dive in and help them out, man. Let's all stick together in this. Blessings. I hope to see you. Final thoughts. Take care.